My name is Souza, and I have a dairy about 5 miles up the road here. And again, first of all, with preceding speakers regarding dairy, I agree. Something needs to be done. This is a problem. It's unprecedented. It's the magnitude of the problem. We've never seen this before. We had such a dramatic drop in prices, both domestically and internationally. This is unprecedented. One thing I can tell you, just the value of the dairy herd in California, we talk about equity and banking. The estimates are we've lost about $2.5 to $3 billion in losses just in the equity of our dairy herd, and that's shared amongst 1,800 dairy farmers in California, which makes it extremely difficult to refinance these.
I hear you.
There's just not a lot of equity left out there. But I think you make a good point. We've heard of some folks here today that had some solutions, but they're more along the terms of a long-term solution. And those have to be well thought out and discussed throughout the industry. And I couldn't agree with you more, but we don't have time to do that. We need something now, immediate, and I'm talking about a matter of weeks. One of the ideas, I had the opportunity to testify before the House Ag Committee subcommittee on dairy, poultry, and livestock on this issue. And one of the ideas that's been circulated has gained a lot of support is the idea of the USDA cheese purchase. We estimated 100 million pounds of cheese needs to be moved into consumers immediately. One of the ways of doing that is moving it through the food banks. We have food banks that are have a tremendous need for the food. They're basically running on empty, as you know, and I know you have letters suggesting that. If we could move the 100 million pounds off, I think we could do a couple of things. One thing is we would, of course, provide a necessary humanitarian need. Secondly, we can stabilize price and get price at least, we'd like to get them at least above $3.69 on all milk. And the reason $13.69 on all milk. And the reason we're using $13.69, that would say we could find some paygo money there through the MILC program. Using the USDA estimates right now that we're going to spend about another $500 million in MILC payments this year. By getting the price above that $3.69, I keep saying $14.69.
It might end up at $3.69. So we can't let it happen.
We're heading there. If we get the price above $13.69, we'll eliminate that need. We can save on the 500 million, if we buy 100 million pounds, we buy $130 million. We can save USDA about $360 to $370 million. And that may go a long way to helping answer the paygo question. If not, we'd be more than happy to work with the congressman and Congress to find the money to do that. But that would provide the most immediate relief for dairy farmers, not only here and across the country. At the same time, it will send a uniform market message. We're getting a very mixed message across the country. As you know, family farms in California are usually a little larger than they are in the Midwest. Actually, back in Iowa, I think you're getting some larger farms there as well now, too. But in the east and the Midwest, we see smaller farms. They're still collecting off that MLC payment, which gives them a significant advantage over the California farms. This would level the price, save the government money, and provide a humanitarian need.
Ray, that's a very positive suggestion. The challenge for me in the short term, and by short term I mean a matter of weeks, based on your timeline, is that the resource that I would be able to use for that kind of purchase has already essentially been used for all the prior purchases that we made of all of the commodities that we purchased, over $1 billion. The reason we don't have any more flexibility is Congress has basically capped what we can do with that resource. Now, if Congress could unleash the cap, that would be one solution. If Congress could take the Senate proposal, which is 300-some million, and essentially say, don't put it into the Farm Service agency, put it into a dairy relief fund and use it to purchase cheese, we could do it then. So we'll need help in the short term. Now, come October 1st, that fund gets replenished, and then we have a bit more flexibility than we have today. So it's an issue of timing for us. It's not an issue of desire or hope. It's really a matter of timing. And Congressman, when you get back, if you all can move something through the process that quickly.
We don't go back to the 8th of September, Ray, and so when we get back, we'll start working on that. We'll sit down with Kathleen and I have already talked about how we'll get together and meet. But we'll see. You know, Congress is a place that it's tough to get things through quickly, but this is a real crisis, and we'll try and get our colleagues to understand what's right.